Hi there, I'm on a field. If you've seen a couple of my recent videos, especially the short one, you may have an idea, and I'm not going to bang on about it now, but I have found an area, and over a period of about 3 visits, it is definitely proving interest, and I found some fabulous things, and I brought them all along with me. But every time it's only been 2 or 3 things a time, and it hasn't been enough to make a video. So they've just sort of been on the back burner. I haven't even got my camera out. They're all finds that I thought, well, I'll find something else, one more thing, and then I'll start recording. And I never got round to it. But I'll just show you now. So the first time I came here, I found this incredible. We're going to have to go back and look at these because these are really serious items. All in this little area. I found this fabulous brooch. I've cleaned it up. It's a 2nd century one, and it's got really lovely silvering on it. And it's definitely 100% Roman, a Roman plate brooch of sorts. I mean, just wonderful, missing the catch. And we'll have a little look at that when we get back. Very close to it, I found this. Now, I'm not an expert on bells, but that to me looks Roman, and I did a little bit of research and it is Roman. That was the first time I came here. That got my blood up. No coins yet, no coins yet. The next time I came, I found this wonderful buckle. I mean, absolutely beautiful. Now I reckon that's Roman too, because the medieval buckles, the strap end tends to go round the buckle itself, or you've got much more of a box going out from it. Now, I don't think this is broken, but I do think that is all there. It's a very unusual thing. Now, when we go back and look at this, I've got a fabulous new book to show you as well, and I wonder if that's going to be in it. I haven't checked yet. So that's just rather amazing.
Hi there, welcome to headquarters. Well, I thought we'd better come here now quickly because we've got a lot to get through in this video and just look at a couple of these things. Now look, the buckle. This is the book I was talking about, and it's good. It's proper good. I think a buckle book was really, really needed. There is another book here which I'm going to show you as well, which I've shown you before, dress accessories, but that's everything. The buckle book is not everything, it's just buckles, and it will take a little bit like that one. It'll take a bit of getting used to, but once you've got the hang of it, there's not going to be much which is not in here. It's absolutely beautifully done. It is by the Finds Identified people, Greenlight Publishing, and I'll leave a link to it, to the details of it below. But anyway, now this buckle, now it's really unusual looking, and I did think it was quite Roman looking because it's really bulky and just sort of strong looking, much stronger than a lot of the things that we find. But that's because it's missing something. I put it on the detectinghub.co.uk, and a couple of people agreed with me that it was unusual until someone pointed out that, I think it was Easy Life, pointed out that actually it's missing its fork spacer. That's why it looks a bit unusual. And here, if we go to page 160, because I looked it up already, you've got a really good example of what I mean. And it's a medieval buckle, sort of 1300, 1400. And if I put that like that, you can see it's very, very similar. The pin would have come out there, and you can see where it's missing its spacer, which would have had a strap end, a copper strap end on either side of the spacer. Then that would have formed your buckle and strap end. So that is something that you should really consider getting. But just quickly here too, I'm just going to show you tasks. I'm just going to show you here as well, because that's interesting. I've found one of those before. They're wonderful looking through these books. They're very informative now. Oh, I should have done this earlier. Don't worry, I can edit all this out. Here it shows you a picture of what it really would have looked like with the fork spacer there. And so that's what it is. Looks very unusual, nice and bulky. I certainly haven't found one like this, but it's not Roman, it's medieval. And then this brooch. Now this is an absolute cracker. It would have had enamelling in it, I think. But the silvering on the outside, this would have been a really, really beautiful, ornate thing. I'm really pleased with it. It's a 2nd century brooch, and I did find one very similar here. Hang on a second. It's been a long time since I've done one of these videos. I'm not used to it. But it's nice to be back. Yeah, here we go. Look. That one would have been very similar. I mean, really, really proper similar. That's got blue enameling and yellow enameling in the middle, and it's worn where you can see it's gone away. And yeah, they say 2nd century AD. Now I've had a look and hat at as well. Where's that book now? God, I'm being really amateur. I've had a look and hat at for this brooch, and I can't find it. This is the catalogue of all his brooches. I've talked about this lots as well before. Just let me know if you want details as to these. Now, I can't find it in the plate brooches. There are a whole section of the plate brooches found in Britain. And it doesn't seem to be there. That's not to say it's not there. I don't think it's there, or I can't find it, and it is there. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. We come back about 3 or 4 more times, but it's worth it.
And then yesterday, I found 2 other really wonderful things. Now, that's definitely not Roman. It looks to be pressed, and it's certainly gilded on the inside. I don't know about that, but it's a really pretty thing. And this is definitely Roman, and it's intact. I can even show you a picture of me finding this one. Be careful with what you think might be just wire, which is what I thought that was, until I saw that. Now, is that an entire Roman pin of sorts? All the way down to the pointy bit? I think it might be. And if it is, well, it's the most complete one I've found. And I'm really pleased. Beautiful. Lovely thing. Like a snake. It's a Roman pin. It's an entire Roman pin. Originally I thought it was just wire. But then I looked and found the end bit, and that's all this. So just some fabulous objects which would have made any video. But as I said, I never got around to actually filming. But I think I've got to bloody well start, because I haven't been here very long. I found a couple of crappy Roman coins, a couple of Georgian coins. Let's show you here. That's a very thin Roman coin, but I can't think what else it is. A couple of bits and pieces there. Now, I thought that was Celtic, but because of the fact that it's domed. And I'm with someone today who I'm not sure wants to be on camera necessarily. He's found a Celtic here. I think that might be Roman, even though it is quite domed, to get sort of Celtic giveaway. But I think there's a Roman portrait on that side. So I'm thrilled with those 2 bits and pieces. But then I found this. Now, I think this is Celtic. I think this is a Celtic bronze, and I probably wouldn't have thought so if my friend hadn't found one here last time we were here. But that is quite domed. It's got nothing Romanly recognisable on that side, and there's nothing Romanly recognisable on that side. And even though it's not much to look at the moment, I think that's a Celtic. I think that's a Celtic unit, little bronze unit, which is just a fabulous sign. I'll confirm with him in a minute. He'll know. But it just this was the one thing that made me think, get your camera out, start filming. So I've started filming now, and let's hope we find some other things. If this is the end of the video, then I'll just keep filming from this field till we've got enough to do, because there's going to be stuff here. There's masses of stuff here. It's just finding it. I'm not finding 7 or 8 things in one go. I'm finding 2 or 3 in 4 or 5 hours. But anyway, that's what that is. I'm 100% sure. Celtic. Hooray! Well, this is quite nice. Nothing particularly special. Thought just a hoop. Looks like a hoop. It's got a little dimple on that side, which possibly not particularly unusual. But I've never found one. I'm wondering if it's flatter on that side. I don't know how old that is. Is it broken? Would that have been bigger? Quite a sweet thing. Well, as I often say, look, this is the best sign you could possibly get. And there's bits of bronze and there's bits of bronze. Look at this. It's like a sort of work of art in its own right. All sorts of knobbles and things going on. I mean, it's almost looks like it might be part of something. I don't think it is. Don't think it's fallen off that. I don't think it's fallen off a bit of bronze statuette or something. I think it's just that's what it is. Just a lovely piece of rather sculptural bronze waste. And you don't get a better sign than that, because that's early, without a shadow of a doubt. And that's as sculptural a bit of bronze as I've ever found. Well, this is a bit of a relief, because I came over to see Phil, and he left something for me, so we could record it. And now we spent the last 40 minutes looking for it. Fortunately, we have things called metal detectors, so we have found it. What is it, Phil? Come on.
It's only a knackered hammer.
Well
but
done.
I wanted to re-find it. I couldn't.
You found it twice.
Couldn't just leave
it's
it.
A bonus. It's a bonus coin. Oh, that's all right. That might clean up a bit. Actually, that's not bad. Nice portrait. Phil, well done. As I've just said to you, it's quite hard work, isn't it? There's a lot of signals. There's a lot of buttons.
Is that little...
And
not what we're after.
Not
like
what
wrong,
we're after.
wrong period of history.
I have got a bit of a feeling now that we've got a couple more hours. We're going to find something there. I reckon I'm hitting a slightly better area. Just finished having a chat with Phil. Gosh, it's cold. Taking my gloves off, and I found something. I've called Phil over. I'm not going to get my camera out. He can record when he gets here, but it's just down there. I'm pretty sure it is what I think it is. It's in the mud. We were both just saying to each other that we felt that something might come up.
So when?
Oh, no, it's on, isn't it? I think it's recording. Do you have an
iPhone? Oh, it is. Sorry.
There we go. I think it's a gold stater, Phil. I'm going to pick it up now properly. And give it a rub. Yeah, it is.
Well done.
Oh wow, Phil, look at that. No, I'm not going to get...
Oh, look at that. Very nice.
Well, what we'll do... Wow, Phil. Okay. You won't like me saying this, but he's an expert on Celtic coins, Phil. And he sort of has a vague sort of idea on it. A lot of variations of that. Where are we? We're in Catavaloni, aren't we? Trinovanti country.
Absolutely, yeah.
But he's also got very light fingers, so thank you very much. We did say, didn't we? We did say we thought...
We did. Yeah.
That's really made it for me. Right, Phil, you can't come with me, but just stay there. Just try and keep that as straight as you can. I'll see you when I get back. We're going to go to headquarters and have a look at this. I don't know what there is to be said about this. I think this is the best gold coin I have ever found. It's a Wooden Wings. I'll show you it in a second. Wooden Wings is the type, and it's 40 to 50 BC, they reckon. Catavaloni, as we thought it was in the field, but it is an absolutely exceptional example. There are 2 or 3 I found online, and there's one in the book I'll show you in a second, but they are not a patch on this. This is really rather a special coin, and I just can't stop holding it. It's just ugh. For all your Celtic coin needs, you do need this. Now, I think this is green light as well, but anyhow, ABC British coins. This is the be-all and end-all of anything Celtic. And if you think you've got any chance of finding them at all, or that you're just interested, then just get this book. It really is something else. I have been even luckier. I found one of these before. It is in one of my videos, but it was a long time ago. And it's not as good as this one. Here we go. It is Catavaloni.
who are a tribe, sort of Cambridgeshire, Essex, Hertfordshire, that sort of area. And here it is, Wooden Wings. Gold, quarter stater, cross type. La-di-da, la-di-da, la-di-da. What I always liked, the game I always play, if you know me well enough from these videos, is the rarity index. You've got common, very common, scarce, rare, extremely rare, la-di-da, la-di-da. Wonder what this one is. It's extremely rare. I mean, that is... that's just confirmation. But if you look at this one next to that, I mean, it's not a patch on it. This really is an exceptional coin. I looked it up on Numista, which is a website. I think it's a coin sharing website, but it's a very good reference one too. Now, Numista reckons it's 40 to 50 BC. So it's quite early. Now, yeah, 55 BC to 45 BC. The obverse, i.e. non-horse side, abstracted head of Apollo right, wreath is bent at an angle, la-di-da. How they see all these things in that. I mean, I wouldn't have had a clue that was an abstracted head of Apollo. I mean, how they know either, I don't know. But this is, I'll leave links to this as well. It's a good website to have in your arsenal. And there, look as well, Numista Rarity Index 100. I mean, this really is, I mean, a 1 in a million coin. I mean, my God, I'm lucky to have found that. And as I said, I mean, obviously Roman and very Celtic too, as you'll see later in the video as well. There are, you know, there's been a lot going on there. It is extremely mineralized ground, or the sort of ground that just shows signs of serious occupation. The daises, I don't know what other machines do, but if you've got your dais very open, you're just hearing the whole time. There's that iron all over the place, little tiny shards of iron all over the place. But anyway, so look, that's that coin one more time. I won't keep you any longer. That it speaks for itself. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you back here a bit later.
Phil's just gone off to find his own one. I just found this one next door to it. But I've never seen anything quite like it. I don't think it's broken. I think it's complete. It's a little bit sort of scoopy on that side, and it's got a very, there we go, just blown through it. But I didn't know about that. But it's pretty, isn't it? Lovely little thing. Could it have been a bead or something to hang around, a pendant of sorts? Just don't know. Lovely. Really pleased with that. Really pleased with that. Well, this isn't going to win any awards, but it's a bloody good sign, because I think it's a catch to a fibula. So more Roman, more evidence of Roman. This being a sort of semi-Roman site, but it's a Roman site. Well, I'm back in the field where I was with Phil. Gosh, sorry about this. Yeah, that's better. Where we found that gold stater. He's going to get cross because he couldn't come today. And he said, well, I reckon there's more stuff there. Well, firstly, I found the denarius. A Hadrian denarius. I'll show you that in a minute. I'm not filming today because I'm just having a nice time in the sun, and the signals there's a lot of signals, but there's very few really good ones. But look at this. I mean, my God, sorry I don't have all my cameras with me today. I've got nothing, but look at this. Now, it's a little silver unit, Celtic, and it's tiny, but I don't know what's going on. Is that a little bird on it? Is it Iceni? I think they put animals on there once. We're not too far away from that there. And that looks like a boar or the hedgehog. It's not the hedgehog. It's not the hedgehog. But it is a little silver unit. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, I don't think it's in the best condition, but I don't want to rub it too much. And I'll show you that denarius while we're here. The sun is getting a bit low, but look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Is it Hadrian or Antoninus Pius or Marcus Aurelius? One of those three, I reckon. One of the good emperors. I don't know what's happening on that side. No idea. Again, probably not in the best condition, but just fabulous. Two wonderful silver coins. Well, over and out. We'll go to headquarters and have a closer look at both of these coins.
Right, these two silver coins. I mean, God alone knows what's been found on that field. I mean, it really is if it's still producing bits and pieces like this. Now, firstly, the Hadrian. It's not Hadrian, it is Antoninus Pius. It's quite an unusual one in the fact that I'm not quite sure what's going on the reverse there. It looks like a fire or something. Now, I think a lot of the Alexandrian coins, Roman coins of this era, produced slightly different obverses, or rather reverses, to those which were being produced in Italy and the northern part of the empire. And I've just got a feeling it might be one of those. Now, I did put it on the detectinghub.co.uk, and Ronan, one of the mods, pointed me to this coin. Now, I can see where he's coming from here, but I'm not so sure. The legend on the obverse, I don't think is the same. That is, I think, a coin done posthumously. I'm not so sure that this is that coin. I think it's something different. If anyone can help me with that, that would be really, really cool. And then this little silver unit. Okay, so we found the Celtic one. And now we've got this one. Now this is called a Norfolk boar phallic. And the reason it's called phallic is that is something they reckon on the horse side. Underneath him, there's a sort of phallic symbol coming out. The horse side isn't too bad. The boar side, which I haven't cleaned as well, as you can see, that needs a clean. I have picked away at this side, and it's actually come out okay. The boar side hasn't survived quite as well, but that's what it is. It's a Norfolk boar. And so with the bronze units that Phil found, and I think I found as well, and silver, and now and gold. I mean, just the most incredible metal detecting, just the luckiest metal detecting of all times, really, from those 2 or 3 sessions. But anyway, let's go back to the field one more time, because we do find a couple more bits.
Well, I'm with Phil again on this field. So we're doing this is hard work. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers. It's the most mineralised Roman ground you'll ever hear. It's just a constant digger. Phil's done quite well. Oh, that's nice. Always like a little bit of that. Bit of bracelet.
Chin penny or half penny. William and Mary or James.
Well, that's very brave of you to call that from that.
You can see the copper.
It's like a bit of crappy. No,
you can see the copper plug
Phil.
in it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. That's very brave.
And there ain't a lot of people had tin coins.
This isn't very brave. That is a nice. We think it might be Caracalla. He wasn't called Caracalla. That's what we call him. He was Antoninus something or other, and I think that might be him. He's got that brutish Caracalla look about him. So that is a denarius of swords, even though quite a base one. Even though Phil actually had it Caracalla. No, he didn't. He brought the Antoninus in. Do you think it might be an ant of sorts, an early Antoninus? Was him who started them, if it is Caracalla. Anyway, I'll give you that back.
Put me on the spot now. No, I don't think so.
Look.
Well, before you all start screaming at me, quite rightly so, it's not an Antoninus, that type of coin I was talking about. It's an Antoninianus. It's spelled slightly different. Antoninus is the name. The coin is Antoninianus. And it was brought in by Caracalla. Here he is, his Wikipedia entry. He was a brute. He was a brute in real life. And he liked portraying himself as a brute as well. The busts you see of him are just this really big, nasty face. I think he was killed by his own people while he was going to the loo, I think. Not quite sure about that. Let's have a look. Hang on, very quickly. Firstly, here are his coins. He bought the Antoninianus in very quickly, as it was supposed to be a double denarius, but it had nothing like the silver content of 2 denarii. The denarius itself had gone down to about 50% silver in his reign. I don't really understand economics, but it's basically a way of laundering money. You don't put as much silver in, but it's the same amount, something like that. You'll know more than I do. Anyhow, he was debasing the currency by bringing this coin in, and the thing Phil found out was one of the first Antoninianuses, possibly. I think it was a denarius, but anyway. Here we are, very quickly, the death of Caracalla, 217. After stopping briefly to go to the loo, to urinate, Caracalla was approached by a soldier and stabbed. There you go. He was killed. He wasn't killed on the loo, he was killed while going to the loo. Anyway, I just thought I'd clear that up quickly.
What do you think that is?
I don't know, but I reckon it's old.
Yeah.
It looks like it could have had enamel
Yeah.
in there.
Phil's done very well. I haven't done so well. I've got this, which is not Roman, but still quite nice. It's a trade token at all, 17th century. We reckon we can see 1665 on it. So that's nice. That'll clean up well. So anyhow, we'll crack on. Well, this made a bit of a nice sound, and you can understand why. Look at this. This is a lovely piece of big bit of bronze. I mean, is it a door stud or something like that? That's got some proper age to it. It looks like it would have gone into some sort of, it's not a belt mount, that's for sure. A bit more substantial than that. I love that. Really cool. It's a good sign, isn't it? Well, everything's a good sign here because, well, we know it's a Roman area. Is that Roman though? I don't know. I'll ask Phil, he's the expert. So mineralised, the soil, and it's so Roman that you've got to digger the whole time. It's quite nerve-jangling. And it's also, we think, well, we know, gets visited a lot at night, sadly. But I've just found, Phil's found 2 or 3 Roman coins now already, including that lovely denarius of Caracalla, we think. And I've just found my first Roman coin, so I'm thrilled. Took a bit of time coming, and it looks to be a 4th century Valens or Valentinian. And the only reason I say that is because the reverse, I think, is the emperor coming out of the hut with the child, or dragging his enemy by the hair, something like that. Anyway, and well, maybe it's one of the Constantinian. Anyway, it's a little 4th century bronze, and it might clean up a bit. And I'm thrilled because, yeah, I've been out here a bit now. I haven't done as well as Phil. Well, isn't this lovely? Again, I don't think it's Roman, but look at that. What a brilliant key. It's not full either. And I don't think it's particularly old. But absolutely love that. What a really... Hang on a second, let me get the light. This time of year, the light is tricky. But I'm really pleased with that. You just, as I always say, sorry to be boring, what on earth did these things lock? Not very tricky to pick, I wouldn't have thought. Well, here's an absolutely tiny one. Look. Now, I always think that there's half a chance of these being Celtic, these tiny little ones. But I'm not so sure. But I am with the man who'll know, because Phil's a bit of a Celtic expert. But I don't think that is. That's the Roman soldier stabbing his friend or whatever it is. I don't think that is Celtic, sadly. Well, at the moment, there's nothing really exciting enough to get the camera out for, but I'm in an area where I've found quite a lot of little tiny Roman coins. And look, some of this brickwork, well, it's not brickwork, it's stone. That's not natural. That's not a geological natural stone. That is building material. It has to be. And it's very, very Roman here. But I've just found this one as well. And if you look closely, you can see a head on that side and the wolf and Romulus and Remus on that side. Just very thin copper, Rome commemorative, tiny. Well, I'm really not doing that many live digs today, mainly because, well, I don't have my speaker on, and there are so many targets, and it's just lead and little buttons and stuff like that. It's really just don't have time. I've dug thousands of holes. One thing I have thought is how little pottery I'm finding. There's obvious brickwork and building material, I think, but then I found this. Now that's definitely the base of something in a very white or rather off-white clay. So that's something, but there's very few and far between. There's a bit of sort of orange brickwork, but you can never be sure that's Roman. It could often be later. But I do have a very strong signal here. It's very sharp amongst a lot of iron, but I do think it's its own signal, not part of the iron. And it's in a tiny bit of an area where I've been finding the little Roman coins, most of which I'm not going to bore you with. They're not good enough. But this sounds, well, it's almost too sharp sounding. And it is, yeah, it's the button. There are thousands of these, absolutely thousands. And that's one of the reasons that I'm not live digging. I'm not live digging just to show you buttons all day. But there's definitely stuff here. It's just how much has been got out by our nighttime friends, which is a shame, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, it really is a bit of a shame. It really is. But anyway, come on. Here's Task, for those who miss him, on very good form. We've just finished the shooting season, which he absolutely adores. And actually, he picks up. He's a very, very good gun to be on. Go on, Task. That's it from those fields, which are next door to each other for the time being. The crops are in it now and are coming through, so we'll just have to wait till harvest till we get back on, and then we'll see what else comes up. But meanwhile, I've been madly recording loads and loads of videos, and I've just got a backlog of really cool videos to produce. So stick with me, and I'll see you next time.